this world. Changing your mindset.
In migration, they say it could be voluntary or involuntary. If you're in Nigeria, you will agree with me that lately the movement of so many Nigerian youths has actually been involuntary. Good to have you on another edition of your weekly TV talk show, Be This World. It's my pleasure to have you join us this week. A quick break, I'll be right back. Don't go away.
Monday Onyekachi UBANI was born in the year 1964 into the family of the UBANI of Awomuku in Ikuano local government area of Abia State. He is the only surviving child of his parents. He lost his only sister at birth. He had his primary school education in Awomuku in Ikuano local government area of Abia State. UBANI later relocated to Lagos, where he attended a secondary commercial college and obtained his West Africa Examination Council Living Certificate, commonly known as WAEC. In 1983, UBANI was admitted into the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, to study political science. And his motivating factor was the political flamboyancy of politicians like late Chief Obafemi Awolowo and late Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. He was motivated by the oratory prowess because they spoke extempore and were politically very colorful. One day, Onyekachi UBANI's dream of becoming a political scientist, cum politician, began to wane as a result of the political adventurism and incursion of the Nigerian military into politics in the period of years referred to as military era. He saw in his newfound law the opportunity to stand up in defense of the oppressed masses. He saw the activities of the likes of late Gani Fawehimi and Femi Falana as a credible example to emulate. He was emboldened because of these human rights lawyers and activists who gave up a greater percentage of their lives for the defense of the oppressed masses of the society. Monday Onyekachi UBANI's humble background, which made him to see himself as part of the poor oppressed masses, got his zeal fired up. He was emotionally connected to these activists. After his graduation from the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, in the year 1989, the young Onyekachi, having been armed with LLB degree with second-class upper, proceeded to the Nigerian Law School, where he also came out with second-class upper. He was called to bar in 1990. Others are history worthy to know. Monday, Onyekachi UBANI is our guest on Be This World Show this week.
Welcome back to just joining us. This is Be This World. And my guest today on the show is a woman who is here to educate us on so many things you and I don't know about. Let's welcome Barrister Monday Onyekachi UBANI, the second Vice President of Nigerian Bar Association, former Chairman MBA Ikeja branch. My barrister, to have you on Be This World.
Yes, the pleasure is also mine.
You're looking good.
Thank you very much. Looking good is good business.
I like that.
Thank you very much.
It's okay. Barrister.
Yes.
Thank God you're a barrister. They said migration could be voluntary or involuntary.
That's right.
In involuntary movements, like that's a lot of youth has been involved today. We got a report that in Ghana here, in our neighboring country, that a lot of Nigerian youths are languishing in Ghana prison. And we know we have ambassadors there. And as a barrister, what do you think Nigerian government should do for these people? I know, yes, they've committed crime. They can't just pick them. They must have done one thing or the other. But what we got is that so many of them have served 20, 40, 50 years without even giving them opportunity to appeal.
Well, the story you just narrated is clearly unfortunate, and then Ghana happens to be a member of the West African community. The ECOWAS is a member of the ECOWAS, and there are agreements entered with all the ECOWAS countries. The way they should treat the citizen of each country. We are supposed to follow the normal laws of the states Like if you are in Nigeria here now, probably a Ghanaian, and you commit an offense, of course, we tried under Nigerian law. But you must also be given what you call, there must be due process, and there must be respect of rule of law. The right of appeal cannot be exhausted because you're a Ghanaian. No, all the rights that are provided under the law is also applicable to you as a first and foremost as a human being.
First.
That is very critical. Now, the issue of Nigerians that are languishing in Ghanaian prison. One is to find out what offense they have committed. Second is to find out whether there was a due process of trial, whether they were arraigned for those offenses and properly convicted. Of course, they must be convicted under the Ghanaian law. The Ghanaian law will make a provision as to how many years imprisonment for any offense you have committed. Now, if they are convicted, they have a right of appeal. But you know that most of them are also very poor. They may not be able to afford lawyers. But I know in every country, including Nigeria, there is always a provision for the less privileged to have legal representation. There are organizations, there are agencies, there are even the Nigerian Bar Association, a unit that handles pro bono cases on behalf of those who are less privileged. I also believe that in Ghana there must be such a situation too. So it's a question of knowledge, knowing fully well all the legal processes and for which you can, activate, to your own advantage. But I think that there must be the commitment of the embassies, officials, the ambassadors, people who are representing Nigeria in Ghana, to ensure that the welfare of the citizens are taken care of. Those who are convicted also will not serve beyond the number of years they are sentenced to serve and all that. These are things that they must, watch out to avoid the abuse of a citizen, to avoid a situation where a citizen will be maltreated by the country in which they reside. These things must be avoided because it's an intergovernment issue. Government can get angry and then ask for reason why they are being maltreated and all that. So I think we must, call on the government of Nigeria, especially the ambassador that is representing Nigeria in Ghana, to look into this allegation of the people who are there not being the due process not being followed. They are not being tried, in a proper manner. Some of them are languishing in jail without any trial. Those who are convicted are not given the right of appeal and all that. So many things that you have just narrated, and most of those who have experienced it are narrating that it is very unjust system. And I don't think Ghana, who happens to be a brother, Ghana has always been a brother to us, and I will regard them as brothers, the big brother. I will play that role. I don't think that Ghana government would be interested in punishing Nigerian citizens who are residing in their country. If they do that, that's clearly uncalled for, and of course Nigerian government should be able to intervene and ensure that it doesn't happen. So it is a matter that I think that the government of Nigeria should look into. It's a serious allegation that the Nigerians are being maltreated in Ghana prison. They are spending time beyond the normal time they're supposed to spend. They are not given the right of appeal, and even while inside prison, they are being abused. And those are the things that we should not allow to happen because they're Nigerians, and our government must show commitment towards the welfare of the citizens who are there. And
now, from what's getting to us now, from people in the prison, and some of them who have left there, actually say that they are being maltreated. Now, and we have ambassadors, we have embassy there that is being represented.
Yes, sir.
Now, our embassy stands as our ambassador in Ghana is like our face, our eyes, our president.
Yes, our representative.
And most of our youths, our Nigerians are going through this in Ghana, and nothing is being done. So what should we do? What should Nigerians do for them? We can't just fold our hands and allow our own lavish there.
Well, it's in a program like this is where the attention of the government should be drawn to, and I'm very happy you're highlighting these injustices Nigerians are suffering while in Ghana prison, so that the government of Nigeria should look into. It's a very serious allegation. I'm not saying that allegations are true, but I think that the government of Nigeria, being represented by the ambassador there, should investigate and clearly know whether what is being alleged is true or is false. The allegation by Nigerians that they are being maltreated there, they are not allowed to follow the due process. They are not allowed to even exhaust the appellate option. they are not given those medical treatment. They are abused
many of them are dying.
So I think that these allegations are things that we are bringing now to the knowledge of the government, and then to the ambassador that is in Ghana, and that something should be done in order to look into these allegations and confirm whether they are true. And if they are true, of course, there are measures to stop that. There are measures they should put in place to stop all that and make sure that Nigerian citizens are respected. We treat other citizens, especially in Africa, we are regarded as big brothers.
Yeah.
We fight wars on their behalf, we take care of them, we do all manner of things, spend our money in order to ensure that there is unity in the African continent. So if we have played all that role as a big brother, then we should be respected. I mean, our citizens should be well treated when they come to their countries and all that. But I must also say this. I do not encourage this issue of Nigerian youth leaving the shores of this country and going to other countries, when their paper, when they go there, they don't have correct papers, either to work there or to stay there. I know there is free movement within the West African zone, but I'm saying that even going abroad, all this issue of European countries or American countries, I don't believe there are opportunities here. We should encourage our youth to look inwards. We should encourage those who have not gone to school to go to school. We encourage those who have not learned any work to learn. And if they do, they should not be looking for employment. They should create employment themselves. There are certain things you can do in order to create employment.
I like what you said.
Yes,
we should encourage our youth.
To stay backwards rather than rushing to those countries. Most of them die on the road. Most die in the sea.
Yeah,
there are many
deserts.
Exactly, the desert and all that. Try to enter European countries through illegal routes, and they end up dying. So we should encourage our youth to actually begin to stay in this country and then work hard and look inwards. There are a lot of opportunities here. We have the population, we have the resources. I am not ignorant of the mismanagement of our resources by our political office holders, but I'm saying that any person that is committed, any person that wants to work hard.
Do we have the environment?
The environment is there. We have the population. We have the population. There are many countries that don't have the kind of population we have, and I tell you this, if we can maximize that, we know what we can supply. Many guys who are in this country have, if you see the kind of stories people tell of how they look inwards and discover needs and discover where they are needed and discover where they can supply certain things and provide needs, and before you know it, they start blossoming and start doing well. So I think that the best thing is to advise our youth not to be in a hurry.
Exactly.
Looking for this greener pasture, because those there are nothing green over there. Must also, sometimes they have problem even satisfying the yearnings and aspirations of their own citizens, let alone now have an opportunity for you. So I think that we should encourage our youth to actually stay back here, see what they can do and discover needs, and then provide those needs and become useful here, rather than going and dying abroad in a manner that is considered very callous.
So many of them feel that, what am I doing here? Let me go. So what do you think is really pushing them out of? Because in this kind of movement, there must be a pulling and a pushing factor.
That's right.
What is pushing them and what is pulling them?
Actually, it's the economic situation. The economic situation in the country is not pleasant. The issue of employment you have raised. You graduate, for many years you don't have any job, and so there are these stories you hear that, if you go abroad, the dollars are being thrown on the streets, and all that. And before you know it, they are being pulled over there. And when they get there, what they see is not actually what they have heard. And then before you know, you are stuck.
Exactly.
And now you become a hustler. A hustler in a foreign country. One, he didn't go there, with the correct papers.
Exactly.
Right? So you're running away from being caught. And being deported and all that. So I think I agree that we have economic problem here. But I also have seen that there are those who have suffered the issue of unemployment, and they look inwards and then begin to provide where there are needs, and they become useful. And before you know it, they start from nowhere and they become big. If you hear the stories of those people in Nigerian youth who have actually excelled, having looked inwards and discovered where there are needs and then provided those needs, and they become something that this man is a great, become great. So we must begin to encourage our Nigerian youth not to be in a hurry, to leave the shores of this country as a result of unemployment or economic problem. And then I think our curriculum also in the universities must change. This issue of being independent. Yes, we should become creative. We should become, very creative. And even I finished from university, if not for the fact that I needed some experience as a lawyer in a law firm, I wanted to start, from the beginning to be on my own. Because I mean, looking for employment and all that, and then how much are you going to be paid? Let's, I learned a bit, and then went, opened my own law firm. And God has been very, merciful, and I look for other 1 or 2 things also to do in addition, to the legal practice, and it's been wonderful. So I think that we must begin to look inwards, and also the God factor is there. We must also believe in God, and if you work hard, and you pray hard, and you work hard, and you look inwards, God will begin to show you where you find yourself to be very useful. I've seen many great young boys, from nowhere, even great ladies, from nowhere, who have become somebody today in this country as a result of the fact that they stayed back and looked inwards and became useful to themselves. So let's discourage this issue of migration. Oh, let's go to other countries, it's going to be greener there. And when they get there, it's not green. It's actually very sandy. It's very sandy.
Ready.
If I'm ready.
How can we now tell our own stories so that our own story will be enticing, it will be interesting, so that many of our youth will not want to leave these shores of this country? Because that's actually, I like it, the stories they hear about the other country. How should we Nigerians tell our stories?
Yes, there are stories to be told. Honestly, I attended a program recently, and that was the birthday of Asiwaju. So that is Bola, the former governor of course,
Lagos State.
and at the issue of promoting things that are Nigerian, and then they now showcase some young boys who are doing marvelous things, showcase some young girls who are doing marvelous, and are doing it within the environment within Nigeria. And I was really excited. This young man that is manufacturing cars now in Anambra State. Was also present. And he said how he started. And from nowhere, this young man now has started to export cars even abroad. And in fact, 2 or 3 days ago, I read a story of how a priest came to him and said he's going to be a manufacturer of cars. And his cars will not only be sold in Nigeria, but also beyond the shores of Nigeria. And today, his cars are being sold beyond the shores of Nigeria. In fact, he called that man that gave him that prophecy many years ago, 20 or 30 years ago, and gave him a new SUV.
You're beginning to sound like a man of God.
Well,
you said looking word. This one you say prophecy.
I believe in God factor. You can become anything, but if God is not with you, there is nothing you can do. So I believe so much in this God factor, and I promote it anywhere. And for our young ones, when you begin to work hard, and then you believe in God, and then obey the laws of God, there is no way God cannot bless you.
I love that.
Because God says, I will hear the cries of the righteous. The faithful ones, God hears their cries, and because He will not like you to suffer, He will always make a way where there is no way. So there are many ways here for us in this country. There are many ways. Even when people think there is no way, there is a way. And of course, we are bound by the confessions of our mouth. As a man speaketh, the Bible says, so he is. If you say that it's bad in this country, of course, things will be bad. But you say it's good for you. There is honey, and there is many good things in this country. God will begin to provide all those honey, and you begin to see good things in this country. I believe so much in Nigeria.
Same here.
I believe so much in Nigeria. There is no country like Nigeria. I have been opportune to travel all over. I've been to America, I've been to UK, I've been to all other countries in the world. I've been to Mexico. But there is no country as good as Nigeria. I'm just telling you, in terms of natural resources, in terms of the weather, in terms of the friendliness of the people, in terms of capacity, there are so many good things God has. Is it the thing that we eat and all that? No country has the kind of things we have. So I think God has blessed this nation, and I'm so proud of being a Nigerian. But this year I'm not going abroad for any holiday. I'm spending my holiday here in Nigeria.
Where in particular?
I'm going to Calabar.
Wow, with the cattle.
Yes.
Wow, that's good.
I'm taking my family there. So I think we must begin to encourage our people to look inwards. I don't eat foreign rice anymore. Yes, I eat Abakaliki rice.
That's good.
I have somebody that supplies me, bag every month, and all that. So these are the kind of things we must begin to inculcate in our youth, that we must begin to look inwards, believe in everything Nigerian, believe that Nigeria has so much opportunities for everyone, as long as we work hard, as long as we believe in ourselves, as long as we believe in our country. There is nothing God cannot provide for us in this nation. That's my take.
My name is Funsho Mojola, popularly known as Pikitikiti Art Links. I'm a visual artist. I paint. That is what I do. In art, there are different lines of art. Under art, we have visual. Under art, we have even the singer, they are an artist too. The dancer, the artist, the painter, the sculptor, the ceramic. It's very, very wide. But on my own area under the arts, I specialize in paintings, visual. Even under this visual, we have painter, ceramic, graphics, sculptor, talk a lot of them. But me, I'm a painter. I specialize in paintings. I've been painting since 1984, before Facebook was born.
Now, Barrister, please, what's your message to the Nigerian government and to the youth? Like you said earlier, irrespective of what the kind of crime they've committed, that we should actually, because when your child did something, you should at least give him a listening ear, please.
Yeah, it's important that the government, must protect the Nigerian citizen, whether they are criminals or even they are innocent.
Yeah.
The welfare of the citizen must be the priority of the government, especially for those who are outside. We must take care of them. We must also take care of those who are here. We must also change the economic policies of the government to make sure that we create employment. When we create a very conducive environment for the investors to come in, they will come in, and of course there will be so much job. Now let me tell you, let's try and solve the energy problem, the issue of power. The moment we get it right with light, a lot of things will change. Our Nigerian youth will know, because industries we want to establish here. Why most of them are running away from the Nigerian environment is because of the cost of energy. The cost of power is so much. By the time you build it in, well, how much are you making? You don't make even. So I think that Nigerian government must solve this energy problem, and then make the environment to be conducive, do all the basic infrastructure, fix our school, fix our hospitals, fix roads. The Nigerians will be here to make this country a beautiful and bigger country. We must encourage Nigerians to remain here, but we must make the environment to be very conducive. The government must, as a result of deliberate government policy, invest in the basic infrastructure that will now attract investors, both local and international, to come in here to establish. And when they establish, Nigerians will have jobs. And when they have jobs, they won't talk about going abroad. Those who will go abroad will go on holiday and still come back to Nigeria. Follow me. Very important about that. So those who are there who have committed any crime, the Nigerian government must also look after them and ensure that due process is followed for their trial process, even to the issue of being go on appeal. And when they have finished serving, if they want to be deported, Nigerian government must be responsible also in bringing them back, to integrate them back to the society. Very, very important for us as a nation, and for Nigerians who want to be there. Please try and be law abiding.
Exactly.
If you go to a foreign country and know that there is no you, try and be law abiding. Whether in Nigeria or abroad, try and be law abiding. Very important. And when you are law abiding, you cannot fall into any error. Nobody can arrest you for any offense. Very, very important.
Thank you for coming on the show. I truly appreciate it. Wow, you've heard it from Barrister himself. He has said it all. If you're a Nigerian, you find yourself in this country or outside this country, you should be law abiding no matter what. And there's another thing he said there that's cuts me. He said, we as individuals, we should look inward, that what it needs to succeed, to excel in life is actually embedded in us. But most of us, we don't know it. Look around you, look inward, and you'll become a better person. We had the story he gave us about so many people who shared how they started. You too can come around and share your stories with us. We are waiting for you. Remember, you're a millionaire in making. That's much we'll be taking today on Baby's World Show. Remember to keep it with us, same station, same time next week. Remember our Facebook page. If you missed this interview, www.babysworld.tv. You can watch it there. Follow us on our social media handles. And remember, we love you.